Hello guys, last week we finished notes number 11. We already finished all the notes 11 last week. So if we finish notes number 11 last week, so this week this is a last lecture of our macroeconomics. So it's notes number 12. So in the chat box, first step in the chat box, you can get your notes number 12. We will give you 1 or 2 minutes to print out the. If you need a hard copy, you can print out a notes, a copy of our notes number 12. Okay, let's get started. Notes number 12, as you can see, the title is about the kind of the last economic agents we need to know, we need to learn in macroeconomics. So macroeconomics, if you remember earlier in the first week, we mentioned microeconomics, but it's about individual behavior. Like we study, we learn individual behavior. So we learn 3 different economic so-called agents, like a customer behavior, like we learned customer behavior. And from notes, I guess, is from notes number 7. From notes number 7, 8, 9, 10, all these lecture notes is about producer behavior. So producer behavior is actually is the most important and most difficult part of your macroeconomics. Yeah, from those 8, 9, 10. Yeah. From 8 to 10, it's about 4 different market structures: so perfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly, and monopoly state competition. So from those 8 to 10. So 11 is about labor market, resource market. Okay, so in this last lecture notes, we will learn the so-called last economic agent. Is a kind of government. Yeah, so the government behavior. The title here. But in previous lectures, we actually have mentioned about a lot of things about government. in previous lectures. So in the first part of 12.1 here, let's review a little bit. Those government behavior, those materials related to government in previous lectures. So actually, the first one you can see is about price fixing, right? We learn price fixing policy. Actually, in your notes number 2, because the last part of your notes number 2. Last page of your notes number 2. We mentioned we learned price fixing policy. So to be more specific, we learned 2 different things. The first one is called price floor. So why we set as a government, why you set something called why you do something called price floor policy? So you want to increase the price. You want to increase the price for whatever the reason. We don't need to care about what are those reasons. So for some, what's the reason you want to increase the price? So price floor kind of is the minimum. So minimum regulated the minimum price imposed by government. So to set up so-called binding effective policy to make sure your price floor is above the market equilibrium, right? So that is called price floor policy. So just as the opposite, is a price setting. So this time you want to lower the price. Of some special goods and services. Or maybe the best example for price floor is called the minimum wage policy and price ceiling. Usually, commonly the real life example of price ceiling policy in AP examination is called rent control. Like the government want to lower a bit the rent of a kind of a basic accommodation for those lower income household. Okay, so this is you learn about this in notes number 2. So number 2, for sure in notes number 4. So as a government, for sure you can collect tax revenues. And you can collect tax revenues from either individuals, from business, corporations, so from. Okay, and you should know these 2 terms. So these 2 terms actually are 2 different ways for kind of calculating like how much money you can as a government. Okay, from perspective of a government, these are 2 different ways to calculate how much money you can collect from business, once again from either business and individuals. So if you do something called excess tax means per unit. Excess tax means per unit, like unit based, like a quantity based tax. So if you remember the example we learned in notes number 4, the example was, you want to reduce the quantity of the cigarettes, right? It's something bad. So as a government, you want to reduce the quantity of cigarettes consumed, produced in your city, in your country, in BC. So what you can do, you add something, you regulate, your regulation was, so your regulation for those cigarettes producer was, okay, if they produce 1 more unit, they need to pay like $4 to US government. You just charge them $4 per unit as a so-called excess tax. Okay, but lump sum tax is you just charge a tax once with a fixed amount. Okay, after they pay this one-time fixed amount of tax, they can produce like they can produce any units, any amount of secrets. So this is a one-time lump sum tax has no relationship with how many units produce after they pay the tax to government. Tariff, one more term, tariff is just a special type of a tax. Is the example was as an importing country, you can add so-called per unit importing tariff on those goods and services imported from foreign country. And this is called importing tariff. Subsidy is the money is just as a financial support as a government you extend to either a economic sector, industries, or individual. My example was this is a real thing. Okay, like right now in BC, Vancouver, yeah, as a consumer, if you are willing to buy like electronic cars, like EV, electronic cars, you actually can get some money from BC government to promote like the environmental like, protection policies to protect our natural environment. So this is a definition of a subsidy. Number 4 in monopoly. Monopoly is notes number 9. So this is notes number 1. Earlier in notes number 1, you already learned what is a subsidy. In notes number 9, monopoly. So monopoly is a most terrible situation. Monopoly is a most like the worst. I mean, from the perspective of our whole society, from perspective from the general public consumers. So in your eyes as a consumers, your monopoly must be the bad, like the worst situation. Okay, if our the market, okay, the control is being controlled by a single seller, is being controlled by a single company, then the single company who control 100% market share is called a monopoly. So just based on your intuition, you even don't need to like every time you even don't need to like draw those complicated graphs. Just based on your intuition, if the market, if any given market like a bubble tea market in Vancouver, if all the market controlled by a single bubble tea store, so what has those consequences of this situation? So the price must be sky high, and they produce just a few units for all the people in Vancouver. Okay, so everybody as a consumers, so we need to compete with each other. So only those people who are willing to pay higher price of a bubble tea really can get a bubble tea. Okay, but if you don't have money, if you don't willing to like pay higher price, you cannot get a bubble tea. Yeah, so as a government, you need to fix the problem a little bit, right? Because the debt-weight loss generated with the monopoly market could be very high. Is at the highest level, the debt-weight loss. Okay, so as a government, what you should do, you just ask them. What we learned, you just ask them to lower their price a little bit. Two different ways. You either can do social optimal pricing, another way you can use called fair weighted pricing. So these two things actually, they're kind of just do a little bit like a memorize. You need to memorize like a social optimal means, okay, as a government, you ask them to lower their price down to their marginal cost. And the fair return means P, you ask them to lower their price down to ATC. Okay, this is number 4. Also in notes number 10, when we learn oligopoly market, like the game theory part, like the game theory section, we also learned something called the antitrust law. Okay, so antitrust law, based on antitrust law, something called collusion is illegal. Collusion. Okay, collusion is refers to the situation in which two competing firms, we call that in game theory, there are only two competing firms. Two competing firms, they make an agreement regulating that like these two firms, they will increase price together or reduce their quantity together, or they collectively do some business strategies which can lead to the social optimum point. So this kind of behavior is called collusion. But in most countries in today's world, collusion is illegal. Okay, so collusion is illegal, yeah, regulated by antitrust law. Okay, so this is number 5. So from 1, so this is the first part. Okay, in the first part, we just reviewed those things, so the government behaviors we learned before. Okay, so no new things in the first section. So after the first part, today we basically just learn 3 different topics. 3 more topics related to government behavior. The first question, the first problem is how government really can fix something called externality. Later we will talk about what is the externality. So how government can fix this problem, something called externality. Okay, number 2, it is test the examination. So we test you guys the difference between public goods and private goods. And you're able to tell the difference, okay, between so-called public goods and the private goods. This is the second topic. The third one we will learn in the field of economics. Okay, the most basic way, the most basic like a method for measuring something called income inequality. Right? How big is the income gap between the rich and the poor, between the higher income household and the lower income household? So the gap, the income inequality, and measured by something called the Lorenz curve, and based on Lorenz curve, it can calculate so-called Gini coefficient. Maybe some of you have heard about this name, heard about this term, Gini coefficient from the media. Okay, so this has 3 new topics related to government behavior. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's get started by talking about the definition of externality. So then what is externality? Okay, so actually, the definition of externality it can be stated as the following. So as a consumer, you can be either consumer, can be either producer. Okay, so imagine if you are a consumer, in some situations, sometimes you're private. If you're a consumer, what do consumers do in our market system? Consumption activities. So what do I mean by consumption? You have money, you buy something. That's it. Super easy. So sometimes your private consumption behavior, okay, sometimes it can generate so-called external, so-called spillover effects to those people around you who didn't directly involved in your production activity. Sorry, my bad. Who didn't involved in the consumption activities? Okay, and this is spillover effects, external effects can be positive, can be negative. Okay, so let's have a like the most simple real life example. If you imagine I'm a smoker. So as a consumer, I'm a smoker. Right? If I'm a smoker, so what kind of thing I consume every day? I purchase, I buy every day. I just buy cigarettes. Yeah. And just buy cigarettes. Okay, so two different kind of people in directly involved in this consumption activity. So the buy side is a customer, is me. Okay, I have money, I purchase, I buy cigarettes every day because I'm a smoker. So the producer side is the producer of cigarettes. Yeah, this is the buy side is the sales side in the cigarette market. Okay, but our production, my private consumption activities can generate more specific the negative effects, the negative spillover effects, external effects to those people around me. Okay, for example, you guys are my neighbors. So if I smoke every day, if I just like I stand in my backyard as smoke every day, you see this kind of a consumption. So my actions really can generate negative effects for your healthy level. But you guys are just my neighbors. You guys didn't directly involved in the exchange activity in cigarette market. Okay, so this is a negative effects. So this is kind of spillover effects. Negative, bad spillover effects is called negative externality. So next step super easy. Yeah, as a government, for sure you want to reduce the quantity of cigarettes, reduce the quantity of those bad things who that can generate negative effects for our society. Okay, so this is a negative, a real life example of a negative externality. But for some other things, yeah, your private consumption behavior, those are things you purchase, is services you buy, sometimes can generate positive effects. So good effects, positive effects for the once again for the people around you. So for example, in the during this pandemic area, if you get vaccinated, yeah, assuming to buy the vaccination. If you get vaccinated, you see, you buy the vaccination, you get vaccinated. Okay, so the vaccination not only can produce yourself, not only you can be benefited from the vaccination, but those people around you, you are also kind of a protect those people around you. Okay, so the people around you also can be benefited from the vaccination you paid for. Okay, so this is a good so-called positive externality. So this time for sure, yeah, easy, right? So based on your intuition as a government, you want to increase the quantity, can be traded, can be exchanged, can be consumed, can be produced in the market system. Okay, so super easy. Let's make a conclusion here. Okay, increase those good things. Increase the quantity of those good things that can be traded in our market system to reduce those bad things. You're just like cigarettes, reduce those bad things that can be traded in the market. Okay, so let's turn to next page. Okay, in this box, let's build our today's first graphical model for a positive. Imagine a positive externality market. So for example, this is as I mentioned, my example was the vaccinated. Okay, vaccination marking. So first step, let's build the so-called a private market. So what do you mean by private market? Private market means the market before governmental intervention. Okay, currently in this market, no government. Okay, no government. So in the field of economics, the basic assumption is if you are not a government, so people are self-interest, all the economic agents, all the producers or the consumers, they are just selfish. They are just self-interest. They only consider their own interest, private interest. So the market currently only can be called as a private market. Okay, so we have our supply curve and the demand curve. Because people only consider they are private, like a self-interest. Okay, so the demand curve here only can represent something called a marginal private benefit. P here means a private benefit. You already learned in note number 7, you already learned D equals MB, right? D can be equals MB, like graphically, like demand curve, and MB, like the coincidence to each other, like the so mathematically speaking, we can write down D equals MB. But here today, just the same thing, we just need to be more specific. Like the benefit now we are discussing about is the private benefit. Because you only consider the private benefit, your own benefit you can get from the vaccination. Yeah, so we write down D equals MB. The producer of the vaccination of the medicine equals to marginal private cost. Okay, and so far the intersection, the market equilibrium you can get. Okay, it's called the private market equilibrium. Okay, so we label this one by P, we label this one by Q. Now we build the government behavior. We add on government behavior into this model. So as a basic government, what you want to do, you want to encourage people, right? It's like 2 years ago, like they want to encourage people, they want to increase the vaccination rate, like encourage people to get more and more people to get vaccinated. Because as a government, yeah, if everybody can be vaccinated, yeah, each people, yeah, everybody can produce themselves. Not only can produce themselves, but also can help our whole society to so-called to flatten the curves to reduce the cases number. Okay, so how we can do that as a government? We just graphically we just shift our demand curve to right a little bit. We will get to the second demand curve. We label the second demand curve as a P prime. Okay, so how you can shift your demand curve to right is remember this: the vertical distance, the vertical, okay, the vertical distance between these two demand curves, okay, equals to something called marginal external benefit. Let's put MEB here. Okay. This is called marginal external benefit. So as a government, actually First step, you need to measure. You need to measure how big is the external benefit. You already understand, okay, if everybody can get vaccinated, yeah, everybody can produce, can generate like the external benefits, like a good effects to those people around you. So as a government, need to measure, need to do a kind of estimation, need to predict how big is the external benefit if we can encourage more people to get vaccinated. So by your measurement, you think, oh, maybe MEB is this much, like representing the vertical distance between two domain curve. Okay, and then you shift your domain curve to right, and you make sure the vertical distance distance between two domain curves equals MEB. And then the second domain curve d prime equals to, if you add MPB and MEB together, so you can get something called MSB, so-called marginal social benefit. The so-called marginal social benefit. You just vertically just add up MPB and MEB together, you can get MSB. Okay, SB means social benefit. Okay, so government this time they consider how big is the external benefit. Do we have marginal external cost in this market? Can this kind of a healthy care industry generate any negative effects for our whole society? So if no, we just assuming MEC. E means external, C means the cost. MEC equals to 0. Okay, because this is a good thing. Okay, so the market generate no bad effects of our society. So MEC equals to 0. Because MEC equals to 0, so this time supply curve on the supply curve and PC, okay, also can be equal to marginal social cost because MEC equals to 0. So you get a second intersection. So the second intersection can be called the social optimal equilibrium. So this time we label the price as a social optimal price, and this one labeled as a QS. QS means once again about social optimal. Okay, so you see the private market quantity. Really, the problem is that the private market quantity is lower than social optimal quantity, right? Before the policy, before the governmental intervention. So we label this gap by underproduction. Okay, we label this market by these two quantities about underproduction. Okay, means the primary the quantity like determined by the private market is less than the social optimal. Okay, so the debt with loss. So the debt with loss here. This shaded area is called debt with loss. And as a final step, yeah, what is the actual, what is really is the policy? What we really did as a basic government to encourage people to get more and more people to get vaccinated by sending them money. Right. So you just offer some financial support. Yeah. Because to get vaccinated is a totally free. You don't need to pay money. Because the government have a helps you everybody in BC in Canada to pay uh or get vaccinated. So that means the government offers something called a per unit subsidy. Okay, to everyone. Okay, to everyone. To general public. Okay, in order to encourage more consumption activities. And then make sure, and you need to make sure the per unit subsidy must be equal to the amount of MEB. The per unit subsidy must be equal to the MEB in this one. Yeah, that this is everything you need for a positive x-negative model. We give you 1 or 2 more minutes to finish up this graph. And and after you finish this graph, I think you can view notes number 1, 2, 3 here. And the one thing I want to clarify here, okay, as a government, you must add, like what we reviewed is a unit-based subsidy. Okay, you cannot have a lump sum subsidy because a lump sum subsidy cannot affect either marginal benefit and the marginal cost because we are doing marginal analysis. So lump sum has no effects either on MR and MC. Okay, so if the government imposes lump sum subsidy, really cannot change the quantity traded in this market. So must be the per unit based. Okay, very important here. Must be the per unit based is yeah, yes, like a financial. No questions so far. So we can move on to the next one. With the next problem is the next model we need to build is negative externality. Pretty much is just the same thing. We just need to consider, but this time we just need to consider like everything like the with the opposite way. So the lesser market is a vaccination market, so which is a good thing. So as a government, you want to increase once again increase the quantity uh, produced, quantity consumed, quantity can be traded in that market. But this market, you see my example. My example was we mentioned in the beginning of today's lecture is a secret market. It's a bad thing. Because the government want to, you really need to come up with some method to reduce the quantity of the secrets produced and purchased can be traded in this market. So just like what we did before, we just first step we just build a market where there is no governmental intervention in the place. So we label this one by supply, label this one by demand. Oh, demand is for consumers, right? So why? So as a smokers here, so as a smokers, you think, so as a smokers, I think I can get private benefit. Okay, so D equals to MPB. I think I can get a private benefit, some benefits, some happiness, utility, whatever the term we want to use from cigarettes I purchased. But I only consider my own interest. So D equals MPB. So producers of the cigarettes, yeah, for sure they need to, they are a business, right? So they need to bear the cost. Yeah, so for sure they need to pay money, yeah, to produce cigarettes. Okay, so this is so far, so everybody only consider their private cost and private benefit. So the first equilibrium is a private market equilibrium. So we label this one by P star and Q star. Okay, the second step, okay, we begin to add on government, okay, into the graph. So as a government, if everybody including BC smoke, that's a really bad thing. Because as a government, you need to pay money, maybe you need to pay money for our healthy care system. Okay, for example, you need to pay money, transfer more money to Vancouver General Hospital, maybe because the secret's really hard here. General health level, I guess. So what you can do, so this time we reduce, as a government, we reduce the quantity by shifting supply curve to left this time. Maybe this time let's change in another color. Okay, we shift supply curve to left. we don't shift the demand curve to left, but instead of that, we shift the supply curve to left. We discourage, first step, we discourage the production activity. Yeah, so we want to reduce the supply. But next question, we need to consider is how far, like what is the distance, how far we shift the supply curve to left. So to answer this question, you just measure what is the difference between two supply curves. You just measure, do supply measurement. So we label this one by marginal external cost. As a government, you to kind of do some research. And to predict, you need to collect some data. You need to do some surveys. Yeah, maybe do some if you have learned some statistics, you need to do some kind of probability sampling. Yeah, you need to do some samplings to predict, for example, oh, if the smoking population increase like 1% in BC, in Vancouver, like as a government, we need to pay like maybe let's say random number. Randomly speaking, if the smoking population increase 1%, so basically government really needs to like pay, let's see, $1 million every year. $1 million more money to our BC housing care system. You see, the whole society, right? The whole society is a bear more like a financial burden due to the existing of a lot of smokers, most smokers. Okay, so if you can do this prediction measurement, then you know how big is MBC. To compensate those external costs as a government this time for sure. You need to add per unit tax to producers. Okay, you transfer this burden to those producers. Okay, so then you can find the social optimal plan. So label this one by P social, label this one by Q social. But this model, this graph actually is the most special graph in the throughout our lecture. So why? Because in previous chapters, every time if we produce a less amount, if we produce less, because then deadweight loss will be happen in the market system. Okay, because more units produce, more units trade, more units can be purchased, means a higher level consumption lead to a higher level utility. But this graph is a very special. This time, because the sequence is a bad thing, higher level consumption actually can reduce the overall social surplus. Okay, so we call this problem as overproduction. And the most special since this time the deadweight loss look like this. Right, because in previous lectures, your deadweight loss, right, all look like this is a yeah, but this time in this graph, this deadweight loss kind of is you just flip this normally looked deadweight loss. Okay, so kind of is a mirror image. Because this time like the Q star higher level Q star actually is a bad thing. Okay, and we finish this level here. So the supply prime, the second supply curve, so equals MPC and MEC, you just add up these two things together. So this one is called the marginal social cost. Yes or no? If no questions, let's move on. The second topic is the difference is a definition of public good and private good and the difference between this two things. So first step, you want to tell the difference, really tell the difference between public good and private good. You need to know what is called rival good and what is called excludable good in the field of economics. So what is a rival good? A rival good, if in real life, some things can be used by more than one users simultaneously at a point of time. If one thing can be used, for example, by two persons, more multiple users. Okay, these kind of things are called non-rival good. Okay, but if some other things only can be used by just a single user, just a one user, single user at a point of time, this is kind of things are called good. So now, right now I'm holding a pencil. I'm holding a pencil. Is a pencil rival good or non-rival good? So if I'm using this pencil to write down something, you see this pencil, imagine you are holding a pencil, you write down something for taking notes. So if a pen, right, the pen should be rival good. If you are using this pen to write down something, so that means that other guy cannot use the same pen at the same time. Should be but Wi-Fi, considering as an example is a Wi-Fi. Everybody in this classroom, everybody in your house, all your family members using can connect their device to just a one Wi-Fi. You see, so Wi-Fi is a non-rival good. Okay, but a pen, close, this kind of thing are called a rival good. Okay, this is a difference between rival and non-rival. And excludable, little bit weird. So if one product is one good, only can be used by paid customers. Who pay money, who can have access to the good. Okay, then this kind of good is a kind of excludable good. Then by contrast, what is a non-excludable good? What is a non-excludable good? Non-excludable, even non-paying customers, even non-paid customers also can have access to the non-excludable good. So you may wonder, in most cases, in real life, in most cases, it is naturally speaking, who purchased, all right? We need to really depends on who purchased or who paid the money for the goods and services. Only paid customers, naturally have access to to some kind of a goods and services. But what kind of thing? What kind of thing can be called as a non-excludable good? So the answer is those things are private, those are public services, private by government. Actually, it's non-excludable. Okay, like a public schools, like in Vancouver, we have a lot of like a public funded high schools. If you are attending a public high school, so the high school is actually funded by government. So everybody is kind of totally free for Canadians to attend a high school. Same thing, healthy care services is totally free for every Canadians. Stanley Park, everybody has access, totally free, have access to Stanley Park. Vancouver Public Library, our road system. Right, so if you live in West Vancouver, the bridge, right? Every time you need to go to downtown through the bridge, like a Lion Gate Bridge. So all these things, you have a police system, have a firefighter system, all these things, so-called public goods, they are non-excludable. So government found out all these public things, public schools, public hospital. But where does the money come from? Where does the money come from? Taxpayers, right? Taxpayers. So my question actually is, do everyone actually pay tax to government? So some of you the answer, some of you the answer is yes. But if you say yes, you mean that everybody has a responsibility to pay tax. This is totally right. Everybody has a responsibility to pay the tax. Okay, but that is not like the real case. I mean, the truth is only those higher income households pay tax. So if you are a lower income house, if you just can make like $10,000 every year, if you are a lower income household, you actually don't pay tax. You actually get some transfer payment system. You actually get a transfer payment system supported privately by government, so you don't pay tax. But you still have access to those things we mentioned. A healthy care system, public education system, police services, firefighters. You see, so all these things here actually is non-excludable. Because for those people actually don't pay any taxes to government, also have access to these public services. Then I guess you can tell the difference between rival and non-rival, excludable and non-excludable. Then the next step, you can tell the difference between private goods and public goods. Super easy. Private goods are excludable and rival. Public goods are the non-excludable and rival. Private goods are excludable and rival, and the public goods are non-excludable and non-rival. Okay, examples of public goods include public parks and street lights. All these things actually paid by government. That comes from coming from the taxpayers. But I mentioned not everybody actually pay tax. Right? Those are non-paying. Those are people who didn't pay any tax because their income is so low. They also can use a public park, have access to public funds. They also can use a street lights. So the nature of public goods, be more specific, because the public goods are non-excludable things, non-excludable goods. So the non-excludable leads to a problem here, can generate a problem here, so-called free rider problem. Those are non-paying consumers, we can call them a free rider. You don't pay any tax, you are still attending public schools, you have access to Stanley Park. So you can be called as a free rider. So free rider problem, okay, non-excludable, this feature can lead to two very important consequences. So the first one, the supply of public goods always is lower than demand. the demand for public goods is super high. Because that is totally for free. For example, right now in Vancouver, it is so hard for those new immigrants to find a family doctor. Because a family doctor is totally free. So the demand for something with zero price could be very high, but the supply of a public goods, yeah, always lower than demand. Because the demand could be very high. The second consequences of that free rider problem is no private business. No private business are willing to produce any non-excludable goods. Okay, so finally ends up, government ends up, okay, to pay money, okay, for those public goods. Because no private business. So private businesses, they are for-profit business organization. They need to make a profit. Okay, so no private business are willing to produce any public goods. Okay, so this is a kind of free rider problem. Okay, free rider problem is, once again, let's repeat again. The supply is always low, lower than demand. Okay, and no private business are willing to produce any free rider non-excludable goods. So finally, as a government, as a private and public goods for our society, for the general public. The last topic today is how we measure income distribution by drawing something called a Lorentz curve. So we want to use this graph to measure how big is the income gap between the wealthy people and the poor people, kind of thing. So first step, we build a coordinate system. So on your horizontal line, what we need to do on your horizontal line is we rank how everybody in the country, we rank every family, every household, Canadian household, in terms of based on their income level. Okay, we label here by percentage of the household. Okay, household here, I mean, once again, I rank everybody in Canada, in your country, based on their income level. So what do I mean? Like here, okay, this guy here standing at the left, the ending point of the horizontal axis is the poorest guy in your country. Okay, by contrast, okay, and another guy standing here, another ending point on your right-hand side, okay, is who can make the highest level income. He is the richest person in your country. We use the vertical axis to represent like the total income, total wealth. The total income generated maybe within one time period, maybe within 1 year. If this was a period we are discussing here is annual income. Typo here. Okay, so then this 45 degree, what kind of is a 45 degree? It's a straight line. Okay, well, this is a 45 degree. So this is straight line is called perfect equity line. Perfect equity line here means everybody kind of represent extreme cases. Everybody, everyone in your country, their income level, in terms of income level, they are totally same. Totally same income level, totally no difference. Okay, a point here. Okay, if the, for example, if I add a midpoint along this exact line on this perfect equity line, so that means that you see 50%, the lower half part in terms of the bottom half part of the total population of the total population in your country can control 50% of all the income. The right hand side on the surface is called the top half part of the total population, but they also can make a 50% of all the income. You see, that means there are totally no difference between people and people in terms of your income. Okay, so the line here is called the perfect equity line. Another line here is called the perfect inequality line. Okay, this one, this yellow one, is called the perfect inequality line. Perfect inequality line means the richest people in your country can control all the income, can control 100% of all the income. So this is another extreme cases, right? Is a perfect inequality line. Okay, but the real life, no realistic, the income distribution situations can be represented by Lorentz curve. Okay, Lorentz curve like this. Yeah, this is a Lorentz curve. So Lorentz curve, so this time, okay, maybe the bottom half part of the total population, because those are lower income household, you maybe can control like a quarter of the total wealth. It's a pretty like a more realistic assumption, right? So if the Lorentz curve, okay, be more closer, okay, to perfect inequality line. So this time means your income distribution in your country can be more like kind of unfair, right? So the bottom half part now only can make maybe what? Maybe 10%? Yeah, maybe 10% of all the 10% of all the income. This is called the Lorentz curve. Based on Lorentz curve, we can calculate something called the Gini coefficient. So Gini coefficient, okay, is a ratio. Okay, both the denominator and the nominator are areas. So area A and area B. Where is area A? Area A is the area between the perfect equity line and your current Lorentz curve, like A here. Okay, if now the currently the observed Lorentz curve is the first green line here. So area A is the area between these two curves. Okay, the view is area B. Area B is the area of all this triangle, like between the perfect equity line and the perfect inequality line. So the proportion of area A take cap area B. There's a proportion. There's a ratio. It's called the Gini coefficient. So you can understand the Gini coefficient because the range, like the biggest value is 1. The lowest value, the smallest value is 0. And if the Gini coefficient is a big number, like if the Gini coefficient in your country is a big number, I mean very closer to 1, that means the income inequality is a pretty large. Yeah, the gap between the poor and the wealth is a very big. But your Gini coefficient is closer to 0. Okay, that means you kind of you have a like an equally income distribution in your country. So finally, number 5. Yeah, you can. So what we want to do as a government, we want to reduce. We want to narrow down the income gap a little bit. So to narrow down the income gap, we can use a progressive tax system, like a more income, more tax. Progressive tax means if you can make more money, the tax rate for those extra income or for those higher income is will increase. So basically, government collect more tax from those higher income household, transfer them, and then transfer them to those lower income household. So this is a kind of progressive tax system. So what is a regressive tax system? More income, less tax. More income, less tax. Actually can increase the Gini coefficient. So if you do the first one, okay, Gini can be lowered. If you do the second one, Gini will increase. So proportional tax is a fixed tax rate, like regardless your income level. You can make $100 every month. You can make maybe $10 million per month. But regardless of income level, if everyone pay fixed tax rate to government, so this is called a proportional tax. So this one, Gini will remain the same. If you're interested, maybe you can Google. You just Google like countries ranked by Gini coefficient. Yeah, you can actually get the list. You can see which country has a most like unequal income distribution system, and which country in terms of their income gap, like which country has a like more equal income distribution system. If you're interested about that, you can just Google like the countries ranked by Gini. So you can fill all these blanks. You can see. Any questions so far? With no questions, we just practice a written response. Where I guess you need to like build a positive externality marking and a negative externality marking. So let's do 2018. Let's do 2018 question two. Maybe give you guys like a 15 minutes for this question. All the question right from A, B, C to E. Okay, some answering finish the question. Let's see. Okay, question number: identify the type of one can fail illustrated by the graph. Also Poisson axonality MSB is greater than PB. That's what. In question number 8, here's a total. Question B, using the numbers of the graph, identify market failure price and quantity. $6, $6.16. D is $4. Was fine. Price of for 8 units. No, because the data was present. The last question you to kind of add a little bit more things. If the question, does the price will correct the market failure? No. Does the price floor does the price of floor view decrease? Does the price of floor view decrease? Does the price of floor view decrease the quantity exchanged in the market exchange? But we need to increase you we decrease the quantity exchange, but we need to as a government. But government needs to increase the quantity exchange. Yeah. The goal for government is because it is as you mentioned, the goal for government. This is a passive externality market. So as a government, we need to increase the quantity can be traded in market. Better price of floor, we reduce the quantity can be traded from 16 to 8 units. Yes. So 18 do we have enough time. Maybe now. Okay, so homework this week. Okay, this week have we beside maybe we do homework is Q number 3. And Tuesday, Q number 3. The Tuesday 11 Q number 3. Besides these two right response questions, I will also send you guys paper, uh, where you can find 60 multiple choice questions. Because this week we done our microeconomics, so you need to begin to practice some multiple choice questions. Because you guys know next year, yeah, when you take the re-examinations, there are totally two sections. The first section is 60 multiple choice questions. You got 17 minutes for six for the first section, like 70 multiple choice questions. Yeah, so this week have you sent you a paper of that? Um, yeah, yeah, the two written response. Okay, the homework here. And no questions, that's it. See you guys next week. Yeah, make sure you finish the make sure you finish the multiple choice paper because next week, yeah, maybe we need to uh yeah, we will talk about the multiple choice paper. Yeah, bye bye. See you next week.